Pumpkins can be so much fun to grow, whether you're on the farm or in the garden. So here's 5 tips to help you grow your own pumpkins. Number 1, to grow a nice pumpkin, you really want loose, well-drained, fertile soil. I prefer to amend with a ton of compost. We get this from a horse barn. It's got manure, it's got sand, it's got shavings, everything that you would want once it breaks down. To help with drainage, we'll also bed our rows. So it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but here's a furrow, here's a bed, roughly 6, 8, even upwards of 10 inches elevated off the ground. And it really improves the drainage for our root systems here. Number 2, just like when you're growing anything else, timing really is everything. So what you want to start with is, when do you want to harvest your pumpkins? For most people, that's within a week or 2 of Halloween. And so with most of your pumpkin varieties, so like this cheese pumpkin here, or your jack-o'-lanterns, or any of your bigger varieties, they take about 110 days. So you want to back it up 110 days from that projected harvest date. And so for most people, that's going to be in that maybe really late May, June, and for some people, maybe even that really, really early July timeframe. Now, there are a couple varieties like the Fairy Tale or the Racer Plus that are in that 85 to 90 day time frame. So if you feel like you're running late, you get into July and you're like, oh, we really want to grow pumpkins, go for those. They're kind of your smaller pumpkins, but you can still get them in the ground. Number 3, it's hot today, so I had to step in the shade for this one. So weed management, that's our 3rd tip. And it goes without saying, most plants don't thrive when they're competing with weeds. Pumpkins are no exception. And so they're such a long crop too, that it's really, really easy to let the weed problem get out of control. And so, of course, plastic culture is a good option, where you're utilizing plastic to cover your row area. I would recommend, especially in the garden, using a woven fabric, because that could be reused every year. You're not just throwing it away. And then, of course, just getting in on a weeding schedule. And so grab your hula hoe or whatever your favorite weeding tool is, a wire hoe, whatever. And then just get out there and get after it. Of course, a cultivator on a tractor, whenever the plants are still small. When you are weeding, you want to be very careful not to damage your plants. This can cause problems later on. And so weeding is so important. Number 4, still in the shade for this one. So our 4th tip is companion planting. And so we hear a lot about companion planting and where can it be used? Can it be used on the farm? Is it more for just the garden? I think as the grower, it's up to you. And so some plants that do really well when companion planted with pumpkins are a lot of herbs, but specifically dill. Nasturtium is a favorite for me, only because the flowers and the leaves of nasturtium are edible. They do wonders attracting pollinators. They put on nice little shrubs, and so if you had kind of empty areas where your vines are, you could plant those in there. Dill is another obvious choice because not a super aggressive plant, and so it's not going to take over an area where the pumpkins are. It'll kind of grow through where they are. Plus, if you are growing for market, utilizing that space for more than one product makes that area that much more productive and hopefully that much more profitable. Number 5, you'll want to get your pumpkins off the ground. So as you can see here, we used a piece of cardboard to stop this pumpkin from sitting on the soil, especially in an area like ours. Although we are going through a drought now, we are generally wet, and that'll cause these pumpkins to start to rot if they're just sitting in that wet soil. So cardboard, I've seen some people use even sand or like a tarp with sand on top of it. But anything that you can use to just get this pumpkin up off the ground, you're going to be better for it. Make sure to tap that follow button. So I want to see all of your pumpkins that you're growing at home. Post a picture, tag me on Instagram, or take a video, tag me on Instagram. We'd love to see it. I am Farmer Froberg everywhere.